might, I don't know how many people are here, but I might have some extras if, something happens. But I want to introduce Liz. Many of you guys recognize Liz, and she doesn't know I'm going to say this, but Liz is actually the person who brought Optavia to the Twin Cities.
Yeah, you can see her.
So I'm really excited for her because although this is because all of us have said yes, right? She had the courage to step out, be the only person in this area to do the program and then to start coaching. So Liz and I met when we were 10. So I knew she was a person of integrity and wouldn't do something crazy, and it's been really fun working with her. So come on up here, Liz.
I'm so glad that you still trusted me after this 25 years, because if it had been otherwise, that would have been really sad. And thank you for saying that. That's really sweet of you, Sarah. I take seriously zero credit. So we're in a church today, so I hope it's okay for me to share a little bit of the fact that I just felt really called by God to this. I'm going to talk about that a little bit at the end because that's just kind of what I'm feeling led to share today. But I wasn't planning to be like what she just said, but thank you. We didn't plan it or anything, because maybe that will give my comments about our fears and what we do with them. Hopefully that will help you get a little insight behind that and think big for yourself. So all I'm going to do is tell you who we have today, which is, are we just starting with, because we don't have Carrie client. Well, or that's fine. We're going to have a new client.
Well, okay, so actually, okay, sorry. All right, I'm going to go, what does Doug Wood call it? I'm going to go unplugged. We don't have a new client because we just got home from the cruise and life's been really crazy for the last 2 weeks, so we missed something. And one of our clients, coaches that's sharing, thought it started at 4, so I need to buy just a few more minutes. But here's a question that I had. So we'll be all the new clients. I'm just wondering if anybody in the last, let's say, week has hit any really cool milestones that you want to share. Whether it's a number on the scale, or it's a size in your clothes, or it's someone noticing that you were waiting to notice, learning how to cook a recipe that surprised you, eating fish for the first time. Anybody?
Great. It's not me, but it's my new client who wanted to be here really bad today, but couldn't last minute. She texted me at a couple minutes to 3. Her name's Casey, and she started 2 weeks ago, and she's getting married. And she sent me the picture. She found her dress. She said yes to the dress this week because, she's lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks, and she's thrilled. She said, I said, has anyone noticed anyone saying anything? And she said, oh yeah, my fiance for sure has said my mood has changed. Just my whole persona is just better. And she sent me a picture of her in her dress, and she looks amazing. So
she's going to probably have to brought in a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It's a problem with a lot of our clients. Thank you. Anyone else?
I don't like talking. So this morning I reached 50 pounds lost. I texted her, we did it, and she texted me back, actually you did.
Yeah.
But it's so nice to have a coach that is just cheerleading you because life is busy and you're running 100 miles an hour and you're trying to do this. Also have 4 kids, have a full-time plus job, and just to have a cheerleader there saying, you got this, keep going, don't lose track, remember your why. And so it's been really, really awesome to have you with me along the journey, but I'm really happy about it. I'm really excited. I feel good. I sleep so good. My energy is kind of back to a normal me. I've never felt sad or horrible or disgusting, but I just didn't feel like myself. So I just feel like I'm getting closer to that. So it's exciting.
So awesome.
Love it.
Can I ask a favor? Will you share your name, your first and your last name? And one thing I want to say too is I think Sarah said this, I was getting the live feed set up for the event.
Is it live?
On the event page.
Okay.
So that people can watch or we can, whatever.
Anyways,
but so when you're friends with people on Facebook, I'm learning today is that their pictures don't really always look exactly the same as in person. So if we're friends with you and don't realize who you are, please accept our apologies. And it's it's funny how you come to know people by their Facebook name. So do you mind sharing, if you share, like just what's your name? First
I'm
and last name.
Melissa Hill,
Nice to meet you.
and I'm sure I've commented on a lot of people's
She's
because
very,
I really like them.
she's very present on Unleashed.
Oh,
Very present. Yeah.
And I think it's so funny because for me, I travel for work probably 3 out of 4 weeks for the month. And a lot of my social time is those little interactions and then speaking with Amy, and obviously my family eats up the rest of the time with all the running around, but those little things mean a lot. And so I remember that when I'm trying to comment on other people's, that they might be putting something on there because they're feeling a certain way, and I don't know, I love it. I think it's
Yeah, that's
great.
the community of Unleashed, and I think Liz will talk a little more about that. It's just such a, it's super important for a part of your journey, and there are some of you that are not on Facebook. They're not mad at you or anything, but you're missing out on a little bit. Okay, I guess I'll have a little non-scale victory that I'm pretty proud of myself for, and I would say Liz and Elaine, we probably all can be pretty excited about this, and it might feel a little bit weird, but did you guys notice? So we have no food in this event. Does it feel super terrible? Because I felt really guilty. I'm like, there has to be food. You always have to have food at stuff. And like, it's okay, right? It's okay just to have water. And we didn't not have food because we didn't want you guys eating. You just don't always have to have food, right? So we can do water and talk and enjoy that and not feel like, oh, no nuts on the table or chocolates that we're missing on. I will call that a non-scale victory for myself. Right, Mom? I know you're having a really hard time.
I am. Yeah. No, I actually, it's good because, yeah.
Simplifies it.
Yeah, it simplifies it. And social events, like I was looking at my week today, for this coming week, and I'm like, Mondays there's this social event, Tuesday there's this. Even old people have social stuff. So, I think it's good.
Yeah. Anyone else have something at the tip of their tongue they want to share? Yes.
This morning, well, first of all, my name's Lynn Hoffman. I'm Lynn Matthews Hoffman on Facebook. I was introduced to the group through Liz. My coach is a girlfriend from high school out in Phoenix, Arizona. And I saw her weight loss, which was amazing. And I had been doing something else, and I said, all right, I'll give it a try. So I hit the 20 mark this morning. And got into the 150s, which I haven't seen in a long time. So
That's amazing.
hopefully so I'm hoping to do another 20, 25, depending on where that's at. So.
Yeah.
What was your initial goal?
Like a size 6, I was
Okay.
maybe 12, 13. So
The reason I ask that is because a lot of people come in with a safe goal, then they like hit it pretty
then they go, oh.
then they're like, oh, I actually can keep
Well,
going.
I mean, so we have a similar build. She went from a 12 to like a 6.
Michelle did.
35 pounds. And I saw so many before and afters. I didn't want to just a screenshot on everyone's like, who's that? I'm like, that's my goal picture. So, I guess we'll see. I haven't been in that range, and I think I just skipped right over that at one point. And so I don't even know what that would be like, So I don't know. We'll see. I'm just excited to be on the right track, and we'll see where it ends up. But to be feeling better and just wearing clothes and going
Shop in your closet.
Shop in my closet.
Yes.
And then I did what Michelle did. Like, she just went through her closet on Facebook. It's like, here's my big pile of things that I used to wear. I can't wear anymore. So,
Love it.
but yeah, so.
Thank you.
Nice to meet
And I know there's more out there, you guys, so share at your table when we've got some more time to talk, okay? So, all right, sorry.
No, it's fine. That was great. And we are totally fine to go out. We're very laid back, and we just want to have fun. So, cool. So I am going to ask Elaine to come up and introduce a client of hers who's going to share her story.
Hey guys, I'm Elaine Garrett, if you don't know me. I am super honored. I'm a coach with Optavia and also have my own transformation story, but I'm super honored today to introduce my friend Linda. This is Linda. Pop up here.
Popping up.
Yes, you are popping up. Linda has an amazing transformation story. She has been on program for quite some time and has if there's anybody who has broken through every single obstacle that has been thrown her way, it is this woman right here. And she
Literally broken.
literally broken.
Oh no.
And she inspires me every single day. And so that's why I asked her to share for a few minutes.
Hi everybody. So I'm Linda McElmurray, and like Elaine said, I actually started Optavia on February 24th of last year. Yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know.
So I was super fired up, and I was on everything, looking at lean and green meals, and I had some really good progress up until April 5th, and it's been almost a year. Well, it's been a little over a year.
Yep.
I wiped out in the parking lot at work and broke my ankle, and fractured my ankle, had surgery, fractured on April 5th, had surgery April 13th. 8 screws and 1 metal plate later. Elaine kind of had to talk me out of the trees because I was really discouraged, and she said, stick with the program, just stick with the program. And it actually, interestingly enough, was really easy, more easy on my family because I was non-weight bearing for 12 weeks. And so I couldn't, like, I had a really hard time getting food, and like, it was just a chore, right? So there was no McDonald's or anything in the deal. So my family was awesome. And we have something at work. I don't know. I work for Alima. That's how Elaine and I met in her former job. And I had to weigh in June. Now, mind you, I hadn't. We had. I fondly called the Big Fat Fatty program at work. So you weigh in and you get discounts on your insurance. So I actually then weighed in, and not a minute of exercise, I lost 40 pounds. Just So I did that, and then I was super excited. I was super sick when I started. I'd had surgery, hysterectomy, and had been really, like, because of my weight. And it was to the point where it was like, I'm gonna be, diabetic, and it was a desperation point, and for some reason, Elaine and I connected. I saw her story actually on Facebook, and I messaged her and said, okay, how did you do this? So anyway, I lost 40 pounds not doing anything except following the plan and reading the book and following everybody on Facebook and just kind of watching the victories. And I got to take my sugar shot in the grocery store with my niece Scooter. So that was pretty awesome. And then I ended up having surgery again this fall because they had to take, in November, they had to take everything out because it was coming out of my ankle. And I kind of went through a period of, I had like everybody does, I had depression, and I was like, are you kidding me right now? This is really happening. And so I, as you would say, fell off the wagon, so to speak, a little bit, not terribly. I still have my mocha shakes every morning. But ended up, then I was like, I reached out to Elaine and I said, I need to talk with you. I have to, I was kind of at that point where I'm like, I could feel myself getting back in. And I don't know for all of you in the room, and I might be dating myself, but I think I've been on every weight loss journey. Weight Watchers. Anybody remember Susan Powter? It's the fat that makes you fat. Okay, that one. I forgot about that. Right. So every diet known to man, I leaned it. I did all sorts of things. And LA weight loss. I can't even remember. I spent thousands of dollars. This is the first program that I have been on that I have been successful. I am down, I think it's 55 pounds now, but I couldn't step on a scale, you guys, for the entire first part. So I couldn't weigh because I couldn't put any weight on my ankle. So it was like, how do I stay motivated without looking at those numbers? And you can do it. And so I had another, I was ironically saying to Eling back when I first started, I was like, how can I do this financially? I thought this is gonna be really expensive and how can I do this? Well, how could I not? And I weighed my options and decided to go with the program. And as it turned out, I had all this extra money because my Starbucks in the morning really adds up, and all those swing through, Panera and drive-thrus. I had money. I paid off 2 credit cards in the first 2.5 months. So, they were small ones, but still, it was an NSP, right? So, but yeah, I have had a lot of success, and there's been some downs, but just relying on Eling and saying help, like an alcoholic, right? I'm driving past a drive-thru and I'm like, I need your help now, and Eling's like, I'm here, what do you need? So she's talked me out of the trees a lot, but it's great to finally be able to meet people and see people from Facebook, because I do recognize some people. But it's been a great trip for me. I wouldn't say journey, but that it's like fingernails on a chalkboard for some people. So it's been a great journey for me so far, and I still have a ways to go, but it's wonderful to meet people and get to hug Eling again. And I think one of the things, I'll wrap up really quick. One of the things that, I don't know, are there any Rachel Hollis fans in the house? Girl, wash your face. Huge fan. I'm almost a stalker, actually. My daughter said, you have a problem. But I do her life coaching, and I'm going to Rise, and I'm really excited. So I'm going to meet her, because it's in my Start Today journal that I meet Rachel Hollis. But one of the things that I have in my office, and I have as a screensaver on my computer, is don't break promises to yourself. And that's one of her quotes. And over, every time I kind of think, okay, I'm going to eat a 3 Musketeers bar, I think about that in my head. So.
Beautiful Somebody's supposed to go up there. Let's see.
I could have just kept talking.
Oh no, it's completely fine. I just was like, okay, so we're gonna have one of our coaches share next, and Carrie and James just got here. Do you feel like you could share at this time, or do you need a minute to just kind of settle? And do you want us to?
Come on up.
Okay.
All right, I'll introduce Carrie.
Thanks, Carrie. You're a rock star.
So this is Carrie Ulrich, and I'm excited for her to share her story with you guys too. Did any of you guys notice that the invite said 3:15? Like 3 days ago, I texted Liz and Eling, and I put 3:15 as the start time. They're like, we thought you meant no. And she thought it was 4 o'clock. So
Because
on time.
The last one was 4 o'clock, and we never. Yeah, that's on
I'm
us.
excited for you guys to meet Carrie. Carrie and I have worked together in the hospital. She's a nurse. And so she started the program, so let her share her story, and she is a new coach to our team too.
So I started almost a year ago on program, lost about 30 pounds really quick, and said, wow, this is awesome, because I had been holding on to those 30 pounds for several years after having a couple of kids and going through a divorce and moving and just like a lot of life-changing stuff, a lot of family stress stuff, and just could not get rid of it. I've been working my butt off at the gym with a personal trainer for a couple of years and not seeing anything, basically gaining muscle, gaining strength, but jeans were still tight, still felt bloated, just didn't feel like me. And I think one of the first things I said to Sarah when I was losing the weight was, you have your little victories and everything, but one day I just looked in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God, I see myself again. Like I felt like me again. And that was like the thing that changed my mind about this whole program, and that this is really an awesome thing. And just, I've kept it off almost a year now too, and just by diving in more and more and becoming a coach and being more accountable and listening to everybody's stories. I mean, I see other people's posts and other client posts that just really hit home with you and kind of keep you on the road with it. So a few months ago, I decided to start coaching, did it kind of in the nooks and crannies when I could, being a full-time nurse and a single mom of 2 kids. There's really not a whole lot of free time there, but made the time to do it. And because I love it so much, made this really crazy decision to do it full-time. So Thursday was my last day at the hospital. I'm either really great or just off my nut crazy, but we'll see. In about 6 months, we'll see what happens. If I need to go find a job again, I will. That's the good thing about nursing is there's a gazillion jobs out there, so that's not a huge deal. But I hope it doesn't come down to that because I love doing this and I want to do it more and more, and I want to grow my team and grow my coaches. I've got 1 coach already, so I think she's going to be a superstar. She's not here, she's not local. But yeah, it's just this awesome opportunity to have, I've got clients in a few different states, and you guys all know how great it is. I don't have to sell you on it. So, but yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Your story is so awesome because what an amazing health coach to see what's possible and go for it. I love that. That's exactly what we're all about. And you're like billboard of that. So congrats. We're super excited for you. And thank you for sharing when you just walked in. And apologies from us because we didn't clarify. We changed the time, so that's on us. So I wanted to invite, I'm going to invite Michelle and Erin Davis to come up. And while they're coming up, I'll tell you a little bit about them. So the idea that we had here is we kind of wanted to show you a little bit of progression through what happens when you start the program to where you can go with it. And you know, starting with kind of some clients, and clients became coaches, and Carrie's a newer coach. Michelle and Erin are what I would call seasoned coaches, experienced coaches, and Michelle has been coaching for a year and a half about, and then Erin just joined her. So it's funny to me, I was looking around and I'm like, I guess the fact that
Couple hours.
Stop it. It is very recent though, and they're going to tell you a little bit of that story. But I was looking around and I was like, I guess if we plan to make like crafty signs, we're probably going to draw a more female crowd. But our community is like female and male, and there are a lot of spouses that coach, whether the wife started and the husband came along, or husband started, what have you. And I think going forward, we'll potentially have to figure out some events that draw a little bit more of the male population in terms of.
You guys might have to work on that.
Yeah.
I know. So Chris and Erin put heads together there because we don't know how to put together boy events, but you guys do. So anyways, so it's like, I don't want anyone to be left with the impression that it's like all like a girl thing. We have the most diverse community that you can imagine. Literally anyone can use our program, and anyone does use our program, and anyone coaches. So anyways, it's a little sidebar. But so these guys are such an incredibly inspiring example of just what it looks like to really lean into your health and then take that to the next step and start paying it forward. We're so passionate about sharing the gift that we've been given, like not keeping it to ourselves because it was so transformational for our lives. And it's not just about health, it's about a lot more than that. And I shouldn't set you up when I don't know what you're gonna say. So hopefully that's kind of what they're So anyways, they're gonna share their story and tell us a little bit about how Erin is coming on board.
Go ahead, please.
So I'm Michelle. I met Liz. I'm a teacher full-time, and then I tutor privately as well, and coaching. So Liz's son was in my class a couple years ago at school, and I have exactly the same story as Carrie had. I had gone through divorce, I gained weight, I was going to the gym, paying thousands of dollars to a trainer. Erin and I were dating at the time I started the program, and we were prepping our meals. We thought we were doing everything right, but I couldn't lose any weight, gaining muscle, but just unhappy with my weight. Saw Liz, just could see she was changing, and you could watch, I mean, as you guys know, you see the transformation happening in front of you, and I watched her transforming. So I reached out to her and just said, what are you doing? Sign me up. I don't even care what it is at this point. I just felt really desperate. I had tried everything. I just felt I was old. It was my metabolism. Why couldn't I lose weight? And about 5 months, I lost 45 pounds. That was about 2 years ago, year and a half, 2 years ago. And just loved it, but thought of coaching was like, no, I don't know anything about coaching. I was overweight. I am not the picture of health to be able to coach someone. And then my dad, who was 72 at the time, saw my transformation and said, I want to go on a program. So I'm like, here's Liz, you know, here you go. And then she was like, well, sure, of course I would coach him, but you really are going to be the coach. He's going to be asking you the questions, so you should coach him. I'm like, well, it's just my dad. There's no pressure. I don't have to know a lot of stuff. So I signed up as a coach only to coach my dad, and that was it. I was done with that. And then it just kept spreading. And you know, you have Liz walking along beside you. You have a great support. Optavia has just been incredible with the support and the training and what's involved. So I thought, oh, this is great. And people just kept coming, and it's just been a really incredible thing to do this. As I told Liz, I kind of dabbled in it because I was working full time and I had another part-time job with tutoring and wasn't able to dive in fully, but I've just seen so much transformation come through that, through coaching and different people that we've been able to coach. And we were very, very blessed that we were able to actually earn a cruise this year from Optavia to go on this leadership cruise that they had through coaching just part-time, which it was amazing. And so then of course, Aaron seen my transformation, kind of seen my journey, wondered what kind of a cult I had joined or what I was doing. He saw me change, and so then he got to go on the cruise with us. And then I think that's kind of where our story really changed. Like when I was on the cruise and I saw the leadership of Optavia, not through just training videos, but actually to meet them in person, to see these amazing people that were on this trip with us. And I tell Liz, I just felt awakened. I just felt like it went from this thing that I love to do part-time and to see it happen to go, I should really be doing what they're telling me to do as a leadership. I should really be diving in. And one of the leaders had said, just make a decision and do it. And I thought, I wish I could be as brave as Carrie and just quit right away and dive in full time, but I'm not quite to that point yet, but I consider it all the time. Should I love to do this full time as my job? And I think then kind of goes over to Aaron.
My name is Aaron. Where do I start? Yeah, all the things that she said was just so true. I saw Michelle started to lose weight, and I thought, this is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm just kind of watching from afar a little bit, and not only was she losing weight, she was just changing. You know, sometimes it's hard for me to just put a point on it, but it was more confidence. It was just she was just changing. I just loved everything that I was seeing again, but I was just kind of from afar. I just thought again, I absolutely thought this is for women, pretty much, and I haven't been real overweight my entire life, but I decided to go on the program, and 4 or 5 weeks, I lost like 8-10 pounds. I'm like, wow. But again, not only that, it was sleeping better. It was like drinking all this water. It was I'm just feeling better. You know, if you know what I mean. I'm sure most of you do, but it was just a change. And again, I think going on the cruise, that was awakening to me too, absolutely. And I don't know, it was the first time I got a chance to be around, 1,200 coaches, and it was amazing. I finally got a chance to listen to them and talk to them and realize that this is not a diet program. It's it's a personal development, and I didn't really know what that meant until I started talking to the people. And that's what I love about it, because I'm not, I know weight loss is a part of it, but I struggled with a lot of other things and not necessarily weight. I'm in recovery. I've been in recovery about 4.5 years. And I remember them telling me very early when I first got in recovery, somebody said I was looking for a sponsor, and they said, find somebody that has what you want. And when I went on this cruise, I found a lot of people that had what I wanted. I thought it was just really, really cool. And I don't know what else I have to share, but like I said, I wasn't going to share this, but I hope you're okay with this. We're talking about taking a leap of faith and quitting your job, and she's got like 3 jobs, and I don't have any jobs right now. So it's interesting that I left a job, just a really unhealthy environment, long story, back in June, and been looking for some other jobs, and have some roadblocks that it's been a little bit tougher to find work, but I actually just got offered a full-time position on Friday. And, thought about it, prayed a lot about it this weekend. I don't know if it's the right decision, but I'm not going to take it. Said that out loud. I'm terrified, but I you know what? It's a leap of faith, absolutely. I believe in this program. I've seen it work for so many different people. I'm excited. I didn't want to take something that I didn't want to do and be miserable and want to leave in 6 months again. I don't want to do that. I just really excited about this. Again, I've seen it work just a ton. I'm excited to work with my wife, and I think it's going to be great for us. I think it's going to be great for our marriage, and anything to spend more time with her would be great. So, yeah. That's it.
Wow. It's like super hot in here and I have the chills. So, you know, that was like real nice. So we got a couple more sharing here. Actually, one more sharing, and then I'm going to kind of close. And then we'll do our signs. So, everybody was like, I'm here for the signs. When does that start? We're almost there. Okay. I don't know why I'm looking at this because I know what we're going to do. So that was amazing, you guys. Thank you so much. And this is being streamed in the group, but not publicly, so that's okay. In the not Unleashed, in the page, the event page. In any case, fantastic sharing, and like, it's really hard to put into words what attending an Optavia event, and I mean, something like this, and I'm just kidding, an organized Optavia event that is planned and put on by our leadership, the company, what have you. I was joking, like we're at that level, we're not. But hopefully it's still life-changing to come and see this. When you go to an Optavia event, you kind of have to like put your seatbelt on because it's just crazy. It's life-changing. If you think the program is life-changing, you have to come to an event, right? I mean, Sarah's looking at me like, yep.
Taking pictures over.
I like have the chills again, just now again, thinking about, so I don't know how to put that in words, so I've asked Elaine to do that for me. Clearly I'm like, ah. But I will say that I have yet to come home from an event with my number one goal to not be a better person than I was the day before. In every role of my life. I don't come home and go, I'm gonna like get a bunch of clients. Like, it's not about money. It's about, in some ways it's not even about health. It is about health, but it's about so much more than that. And when you get, as Erin so like eloquently shared, when you get around a group of people who are a level up from you, and I'm pointing at this quote because it says, the height of your potential is predicted by the people who surround you. And if you put yourself in a room where you are like the weakest link, just buckle up. It's amazing. So anyways, Eling's not the weakest link at the convention she's going to talk about, but
It's fine if I am. It's all good.
We were pretty naive though that first year.
we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into.
Oh,
No.
hi everybody, I'm Eileen. So I'm going to share a little bit about my story going to my first Optavia event, and it kind of connects really well to, honestly, the beginning of my entire journey in health, and that's emotional, physical, spiritual, you name it. And so I started this program. At my highest weight, I was 270 some pounds. I didn't step on the scale very often when I was that weight because it was just easier. So I came to this program at a really, really low point. And I also thought that it wouldn't work for me, but I was desperate. And so I said to Liz when we chatted on the phone for the first time, I'll try anything for a month. And I think I kept her on the phone for like an hour and a half, which is way longer than the typical initial chat, because I just had so many dark things that I had never shared with other people, and she listened. And so I started Plan. In my first month, I lost about 20 pounds. And that was awesome, right? But what was so different about that was I'd lost 20 pounds a million times before. But this time, I slept better. I had more energy. I had more focus. And I had a feeling kind of from the inside out of hope that I hadn't felt in quite a few years. And I was like, there's something different here, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was changing in me. I didn't know if it was this plan. I didn't know if there was something miraculous in the fuelings. Like, I didn't know, but I knew it was different. And so I was like, I want to learn more about this community. And convention was coming up in Dallas that year, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go as a client because I want to learn more, because anybody can go. I want to see some of this for myself and see if I can put my finger on what's different. And about a week before convention, somebody who had never wanted to make any changes in her health that I had known for about 10 years said to me, I don't feel comfortable reaching out to your coach, but if you coach me, I will do this. So I became a coach to help her, just her. I had a job, I was so busy, I couldn't see straight. It was more than enough for me. This was about, in my mind, Health Journey was only about me. It's all I could handle. And so I went to convention and I was scared to death because I thought I was going to a Beachbody convention, you guys. At the time, I was not small at all. And I didn't think I was gonna fit in, and I was scared to death. But Liz said to me, we're gonna go. There's something special here. None of us know what we're doing. Sarah went too. And if we need a space away from the crowd, we will find it. I'm an introvert, by the way, so sometimes big events can be overwhelming for me. So we went. And what happened was, it's still one of the most, I'm a crier if you don't know this about me already. But it was still one of the most defining moments of my life when we had a formal event on Saturday night. It was such a fun time, and I sat there watching all of these beautiful people at every shape and size, just being who they were. And in my mind, I didn't feel like I fit in. And I sat down at the table and I couldn't hold the tears in. And I was trying, and I was like, I gotta get up and I gotta run out so I can collect myself and come back. And somebody that I had no idea who it was came out of nowhere and sat down and said, what's going on? And I said, I need to go, I'll be back, I'll be fine. And then Liz came over and sat down too. And the person that I still don't know her name, may never know, said, no, you are not leaving, you are sitting right here. We've got you, we are here for you. What are you thinking? And so I said, I don't fit here. Everybody is so much healthier. Look at them, I don't fit. And she said, we are all running our own race. We are all at different points in our journey. You are running your own race and you absolutely fit and you absolutely belong. It was a very beautiful moment and it showed me the heart of this community. And I got it together and I had a great time that night. I had a great time that night. And I came home from convention and I said, this is not something that I can keep to myself. So I got on Facebook and I took a picture of my very large body and I said, I have lost 20 pounds. I feel better than I have in my whole life. And if you want to do this with me, please come. And so from that point on, they came. I didn't think I looked like a coach, but you know what? A coach doesn't look like anything. It is just you being open and willing to share your story because that's what it's there for. And the people you are meant to inspire will come to you. It's not about being perfect. Never will be. But you know what? It was the energy at that event that showed me that. It was beautiful. So I came home. I took coaching full force. I continued to move. It's forward in my own health journey. I've lost 100 pounds. Still some more to go, but and 6 months into coaching, I came home as well. So I was a nurse leader. I now coach full time, and I won't stop. People deserve this type of belonging. People deserve this type of help, and people deserve to know that whatever you see on the commercials or the fashion magazines or whatever, that is not what you should aspire to. Aspire to help that is healing from the inside out. And to me, that's what this community is all about, and an event really does bring that to life. So, okay.
What do you think the event would be like as a client?
As a client? That's a really great question. I've asked myself that, like if I hadn't started coaching, right, my one client, I think what it would do is it would probably show you what it looks like to be in a room of people that aren't just focused on weight loss or getting the pounds off, but are focused on, I posted this on Facebook today, leveling up in all aspects of your life. You know, health is a holistic deal, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And if one area is off kilter, it's really hard. But regardless, seeing people that feel confident in being who they are at every stage, it really, really opens you up. So you may walk away just more inspired to be more of you, but you might catch the bug like the rest of us, which is, this isn't something to keep to yourself. So,
so I don't like following that because that was fantastic. But no, I actually wasn't thinking I was going to be up here as much as I have been, so I'm going to try and keep this short because I don't want you to have to listen any longer than you already have. But I was always planning to close this kind of time of sharing and just, you know, I actually had no idea what I was going to say, and I'm hoping it comes out coherently. But you know, as I was thinking about what I wanted to say, I thought I was going to invite you all to join a movement, like you're a part of a movement, and maybe you know that, maybe you don't know that, but I was going to kind of like spell that out because this is so much more than, and it is, you can't like understate the importance of getting physically healthy. Like, you can't live your life to its fullest if you're not physically well enough to do that, but it's so much bigger than that. And so I was going to kind of talk about that, but then I kind of went in a different direction. And so what I wanted to do was just, I hope what I can do is to help all of us, because this is me too, but think about just what are we capable of? Like, what's our potential? And I hope and I think that we don't know what we're capable of, and that's like good and bad, because like we want to know what we're capable of so we can like work towards it, but I think we have no idea what we're capable of. And for me, what I'm capable of is like all in light of like my faith. So just like that's the filter I see things through and how I see my life unfolding and where the power comes from. But that's just an aside. But in any case, but I feel like I have to say that because it's just I'm like thinking it through. That's where my brain goes. But I don't know like where everyone's at in your journey, like what step you're at. And like we talk a lot about kind of what's the next step in your health journey. And then what's like your stretch step? Like Sarah talked earlier about a lot of people will set a safe goal. Like, what's your safe goal? But like, what's your stretch goal? And I don't know where all of us are at in terms of what's your next safe step and what's your next stretch step. But whatever it is, I believe, and I believe this because I've lived it for a couple of years now, and I believe it because I've seen it over and over and over again. And that's one of the amazing things about coaching and being part of this community is that you get to be like part of someone's story and watch it unfold in a really incredible way. But I believe that wherever you are at, you're capable of your next step and then like even more. When I started the program, I was like I had about 30 pounds to lose, which sounds like a pretty common amount. I had stress, life, childbearing weight that I just could not get rid of. And I was really frustrated, and I was depressed, and I was discouraged, and I was desperate, all of those things. And I've shared this on Facebook a couple of times, but like I waited 3 years before I reached out to my coach. My coach is a dear friend of mine who lives out in California. And I watched her for 3 years and didn't believe that it was even remotely possible for me, so I just like scrolled past her posts. Because I thought that was for other people. And but I knew she was and unfortunately I made her like my last ditch effort, but I always knew she was out there and I needed to reach out to her, and I did. And I started, and I was so skeptical, and I was so hesitant, and I was so like, this isn't gonna work. But I did it anyways, and I did it afraid. And then when I started coaching, I was fearful, I was uncertain, I lacked confidence. There are a lot of things that were not like coach material. But the thing that happened was that my coach, and I'm gonna start crying now too. My coach knew me, and she's a very good friend of mine. Like we lived in California when my firstborn was born. She and her husband were like the first people at the hospital when he was born. So like they're good friends. And we had totally lost touch because we didn't live out there anymore and whatever. But she knew me, and she like held up a mirror, and she reflected back to me who I really was. And because of that, I had the courage to take steps and become a coach. And it's been completely life-changing. I am on a path now that I never imagined or envisioned. And the more important thing to me is that like you all are on a path, like that's the important thing. But I think what I see when I look back is that first off, for program and for coaching, and this isn't like to try and say, oh, you should coach. It's more just like my story of how I went from depression depressed and discouraged and defeated to living in abundance that I never imagined in my entire life. Abundance of community and of feeling good in my health, not perfection, but of just feeling good and knowing that good things are ahead. Every decision I made though, I was terrified. And I think, I would argue, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I think you should test it out. I think that part of why I have found abundance is because I was afraid when I did these things. None of them were in my comfort zone. Still not in my comfort zone, but for me now, it's more about, I am more concerned about the person who won't be reached if I don't do what I need to do, what I'm called to do, and have their life completely transformed the way that mine was and is being transformed. So I believe that there's like, and I posted about this on Facebook earlier, so I think that's why this is like coming out today. I've been thinking about it today, but like, I think that we, all of us, probably, but at least most of us have something in us that is like calling us to more, calling us to step out in fear, calling us to faith over fear. And I just want to encourage you, like, whatever that thing is, whatever that next step is, whether it's in your health journey or your spiritual, emotional, career, whatever, listen to it and follow it. Don't be afraid of it, follow it, and I think you're gonna arrive in abundance. I am very confident of it. So that is what I have, and yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. And actually, I want to just tag on to what Liz said about stepping out in fear. We've all been Liz has been coaching over 2 years. Ely and I are right around 2 years, and we know from coaching our clients that it's scary to know. Some of you want to keep what you're doing to yourself, and it's scary to know like what to say when someone asks you, well, what is it? Like, what are you doing? Sometimes you don't know what exactly to say. Talk to your coach, come up with some verbiage. But we have a really amazing thing to share. There's other ways to lose weight out there. There is, you guys. But I am very convinced that this is the only thing out there that's going to help people in their full body. So many of you guys have stories of trying all different kinds of things. And share it with people. It's scary. Doesn't mean you're going to have to coach. We never pressure someone to coach. But you might have someone say, well, I'll do it if you coach me. But guess what? If that happens, it benefits that friend of yours or family member, but it will benefit you even more. And if you decide that's not what you want to do, you refer them on to your coach, and that's totally, totally, totally fine. But Dr. Anderson, and when they started this health coaching model 15, 20 years ago, his goal is to make America healthy, which I hate that phrase now because now Trump did the make America great again or whatever. But it's always been make America healthy, and we're going international in the next few months. We're starting over in Asia. And so that's super exciting. I know some people are like, Asia, that's so weird, but they have really great reasons why they're starting there. So be brave with your story. I was talking to drinks on Friday night with a friend, and she speaks to huge businesses and huge organizations on courage, Danielle Hecker. And she was just, she got in front of this huge group of CEOs and CFOs and all these big guys and said something, I'm gonna not say this really well, but the thing that makes courage doable is transparency. And so be courageous, be transparent with your friends. Doesn't mean you have to go on Facebook and be like, look at me, like we do. But you can. But be brave with your friends, and sometimes it's scary that to even tell people what you're doing because it makes you even more accountable, right? So then you're like, oh, they're watching me. That's good. It's not bad. So, anyways, whew, all right. Who came just for the signs?
Right. It is your time.
All right. I'm here for the signs. Yeah. Okay. On to the signs. Thank you guys. I hope that those stories were encouraging to you. I hope you guys leave here filled up a little bit, encouraged to know that you're a part of something that's really big, and it is a movement. And our mission is for people to find health and freedom, and there's freedom found in health. So let's move on. Signs.